Namaste, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jikara, and I'm a spiritual healing facilitator. And today we're going to be talking about things that you want to pay attention to as you're going through your spiritual awakening. Whenever you are following other people or, seeking guidance outside of yourself, how you can use this information to help you move forward in your spiritual awakening. So before we get started, I just kind of want to take a moment to drop into gratitude for those of you who are part of the Cosmic Light Activation Group. I'm going to take a moment just to put your names here. I'm just so grateful for all of you. You are the backbone of this channel. And for those of you who want to support this channel is completely supported by the community, by the fans. So if you want to support this channel and, help me continue to create videos and continue to do the live streams and all the free stuff that I put out here, I want to invite you to go onto my website, thebloominglotushealing.com, and sign up for my email list so that you can also be part of the list of the people that are here being celebrated, and also be able to receive monthly Akashic record clearings for the collective group, and then also weekly guidance through oracle readings that I share via a private Telegram group. I'm also right now in the middle of transition of my website, so I will be actually be offering an actual portal for you to be able to sign in and be able to get all of the replays for everything that we do within the group. So I'm super excited about that, and I have more things that I'm brewing for the group. But for now, that's what we're doing, and so I just kind of wanted to share that with you. And if you haven't yet, I want to invite you to share and like this video if you do feel that this is going to help you, or this is helping you, or you just want to share the love, whatever that is for you. Just go ahead and share this video, and also subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. So liking and sharing the video and subscribing to the channel helps me, it helps the channel. So this is also invaluable support, so please do feel free to subscribe. It means a lot, especially for as I build this channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with a conversation about our spiritual awakening and practicing discernment when it comes down to who we connect with, and the conversations outside of ourselves, right, that we have with other people. So when we start in this journey, right, like if you are in this journey of spiritual awakening, you're probably looking for guidance, you're probably looking for readings, you're probably looking for support outside of you, because there is so much happening, right? Like there's so much that we're processing, at the spiritual, at the mental, at the physical sometimes, when it comes down to our spiritual awakening. And so it can get overwhelming, and it is natural for us to want to seek support outside of ourselves. Even though we have everything within us, it's okay to seek support. Um we're human. We as human beings, we seek outside of ourselves because that's just a natural way for us to create community. We are social species. So it's just is in alignment with the process of the spiritual awakening, right? And so don't feel that just because you're seeking support outside of yourself, there's something wrong with you. Absolutely not. That's absolutely expected and also encouraged, especially because when things get really difficult, you don't want to try to man it all on your own. You want to try to at least have some community, some support in the process, so that you don't feel alone. And sometimes hearing other people and their experiences can also help us kind of reflect upon our own experiences, and also see maybe how they overcome things, how do we overcome things, and how we can apply some of the things that they share with ourselves. Now, there's a caveat to this, and that's why I wanted to kind of really drop in and have this conversation today. Because I was talking to one of my clients this week, and I was telling him about discernment and how I have also been learning discernment in the spiritual community. So there's going to be, when no matter what community you go to, right, whether it is, a religious, very religious community, or whether it is the spiritual new age community, or whether it is a community, of people that come together. Anytime you have a bunch of people coming together, regardless regardless of the reason why they're coming together, right? Whether it is spiritual or not. Whenever you have a set of people coming together, you're going to have a broad spectrum of personalities, a broad spectrum of um of energies, a broad spectrum of growth that everyone is going to be bringing to the table. So that's why it's important for us to always go back within whenever we are engaging in that conversation outside of ourselves, by watching videos or like such as this one, or watching a reading or anything, or really seeking a reading or anything like that. The reason why I say this is because it's important for us to recognize that we want to kind of like do like a little bit of a cross check with ourselves when it comes down to, is this in alignment with my path? Because all of us are gonna have a very specific path, a very unique way of expressing and evolving on this lifetime. And so all of us are playing a very specific role, and it's very unique to us because we come with a set, right, of information that is unique to our own experiences from our past lives, and from this lifetime, right? So it's always important to recognize that we want to always honor first how we feel inside, and how does the information that is coming outside and being input towards us, how is this being, how does this calibrate, right? Do I need to recalibrate this? Do I need to, take some of these things that resonate with me and maybe release some of them that don't? And as we, and this is something that personally have found myself having to do. And the reason why, it's because there's a lot of truth that is said out there, and sometimes it can be attached to other things that are not so true. And they're not attached, they're kind of attached to the ego. Sometimes there's going to be egoic energy attached to some of the truth. So it is really up to us to really recognize the truth by navigating through our own heart space, and connecting to our own internal guidance. And so this is the reason why it's so important, it's paramount, that you meditate, that you go back within, that you do your own inner work, because this is going to help you really recognize, okay, where in the spectrum of my own existence does this thing that this person is saying outside of me really aligns with me, right? So we get to take responsibility for ourselves, and say, hey, you know what, let me see where does this align and where it doesn't. And then based on that, practicing the discernment, is this person or is this information really aligning, and is this really helping me and serving me to move myself forward, to elevate myself, or to move into a space of alignment for myself, based on what I feel inside, not based on comparison to others, not based on comparison to what is supposed to be, not based on expectations, none of that. It's all about really connecting to our own guidance and recognizing that. This is the reason why one of the things that I have encouraged to my students is to know their human design. Even if you don't know everything about human design, at least knowing your design and trying to practice your authority, practice your I'm sorry, yes, your authority, and practice your how do you respond, right, to the universe? How do you get to respond to the universe, and how do you gather the information is important, and your human design will help you with that. So I would highly recommend to, and you can get a free like a free information online. You can always Google that. That's everywhere. I personally use my human design, and I even have their app, and I really love her. Her name is Zoe. I really like her. So I follow her style. But there's many people out there who have many ways, many styles to express human design. But anyway, I don't want to digress from the conversation. Going back to discernment, and of course, it was aligned with human design, because discernment is all about aligning yourself to your blueprint, right? Like, does this align with my set of values? Does this align with my blueprint? Does this align with the way that I want to live my life? Does this feel true to me? Okay. And then kind of understanding where we can, if we continue to engage with that person or not. And continuing or not to engage with a person, it has nothing to do with judgment. And that was the thing that I actually just recently had a conversation with a dear friend of mine who's also a healer, and I actually was struggling with this myself personally. It's like, I don't want to judge people because I don't, I don't want to cast a judgment on people. But then she kind of like shifted the perspective and said, how about discernment? It's about discernment. It's about aligning yourself with those who are meant to be aligned with you. Just because someone is not aligned with you doesn't mean that you're not, that you don't love them, or you're judging them. It just means that they're not aligned, and so that there's really no space, right, for someone or something that is not in alignment. It's all about staying in alignment with ourselves. So with that said, I don't get to tell you who's in alignment with you or not, right? I don't get to tell you that. That's not my job. My job is to give you some general guidance right now in how to determine if something is connecting to truth. So I pulled some cards actually, so asking Spirit, I said, okay, tell me what are the things that we should be looking for whenever we are looking at other people's advice, or maybe seeking for support or healing, or especially in the spiritual community. Because again, we're going to have so many colors of the spectrum. There are going to be people who are still working on their healing process, and they're still not able to take you over the hump. But some people have done some more work, and then they are able to help you because they're kind of like further down the line that you are. And some people maybe are behind. And I don't really like to behind, like up and down, or left, or left and right. I don't really like to say that too much, but there is a certain amount of truth in the sense of being able to go deeper or to be aligned with you. There's got to be something, right, that resonates there, and that energetically can help you hop over to the other side, right? And so, especially if you're stuck on one side, you want to make sure that person can take you to the other side, right? And in order for them to do that, they, in some shape or form, they got to be able to know how to get there, right? They got to be able to know, okay, this is how I got there, and this is how I know my process of getting there, and then I'm just gonna use that for you, right? And so that's basically it, right? It's not about like, oh my gosh, like you're better or worse, because there's gonna be someone, you may be here, but you may be able to help someone over here, right? To help them where you are there. So everyone has value. Okay. And that's why we can't really cast a judgment. Everyone has values that some people are not in the same alignment, right, with us, and that's okay. And so a couple of things that I really wanted to mention in regards to, when you're looking for information out there, when you're watching videos, when you're watching, there's so much out there, and it can be so overwhelming. And sometimes we can get so caught up with the hooks that are put out there, that are kind of fear based, or they can be kind of like gimmicky, right? And that's something that's very common, in the YouTube community. And I'm just basically being honest with you, because it is a thing. It's a culture within the YouTubers, right? Like, so how can I get people to watch my videos? Because we want people to watch our videos, of course, and so I have let go of that, and I said, well, Spirit, you're going to send the people who are going to watch this, who are going to resonate with me. So I just trust that those who are meant to be here are going to be here, and I'm not going to be hooking people up, because I don't want that. I don't want any fear-based stuff, right? And so I'm here to be in alignment with truth and love and integrity. And so that's what it is. But anyway, I digress. So going back to what I was saying, the first thing that you want to really look at is this person or this channel or this blog or this reader or this healer operating from love? Can you see and feel the love from them? Can you feel it? Because you'll be able to feel it. If you're feeling like a little bit of like, there's tension, and that person is not operating from love and compassion, then you might want to like question a little bit. Okay, well, what's going on? And it's not about judging them. Again, we don't get to cast a judgment on these people, because again, they're going through whatever they're going through, and we have to also honor that. There could be going through an off day, and that's perfectly fine. So that's the reason why it's about discernment, not about judgment. And so, are they operating from love at that moment, right? Are they operating from a place? Are they sharing the energy of love? Are they sharing? Are their words loving? Is it coming from a place? Are they being delivered from a place of love, or are they being delivered from a place of fear or anger or pushiness? Where is that? Where in the spectrum does it feel like to you? And does it feel right whenever you're connecting to that person, right? So you want to make sure that you, first and foremost, really understand that love is the one and number one telltale sign that someone can potentially be in alignment with you or not. Okay. The other thing that you want to consider is this person honoring their own individuality and also honoring the individuality of others, or are they creating more separation and fear? Like, oh, they, it's them against us. Then you may want to, reconsider that. If that's the case, then there's a lot of fear and separation in there, and so you want to make sure that you practice discernment. And I noticed this a lot when around around the time that we were going through this huge shift in the world a couple years ago. There was a lot of that in us versus them thing that was infused into the spiritual community, and I was appalled. I was like, what is going on here? And I was actually surprised and left confused. And especially if you're going through the experience of awakening and you are received with that in the spiritual community, then you're gonna feel lost and so sad that this is happening. I know that happened to me, and it was painful. I'm just being honest. It was a painful thing. So it's important for us to pay attention to how people are speaking. Are they honoring your individual path, or are they pushing you to follow only their path? If that's the case, then you may want to be thread with caution. Okay. The other thing also in regards to individuality is, are they honoring their unique self? Are they honoring, or are they trying to be to fit into something else, to a different, to the paradigm, right? Do they want to fit into, like, oh, because everyone is doing this, then I'm going to do that, right? So then we want to make sure that we give ourselves permission to honor our individual self and know that our spiritual path is going to be unique to us, and we honor that and we honor the others, right? Without having to push and pull towards any direction here. So that's another thing that you want to pay attention to when it comes down to those who are out there sharing knowledge and sharing, and gurus and all of this. You want to make sure that you are very cautious about that. The next one is that Spirit was mentioning was self-love. And I thought it was kind of interesting, because I was like, okay, well, you already showed me love. Like, what do you mean by self-love? And then it kind of dawned on me when I received the message, was that you want to pay attention to those people who are, if you're spreading love, right? If you're spreading love out there, are you practicing this for yourself as well? Are those people also giving themselves what they share with others, right? Or are they sharing it with others, but they're not really practicing it themselves? So what I mean by this is, for example, I've been talking about, for the if you watch my video about the feminine wanting to take over for the next 3 months, one of the things that I've been practicing personally was to try to create more space for myself. And I've been creating that. I've actually gone down on the amount of live streams that I do. I was doing them every week, and I was afraid of doing it, right? Of going down, because the energy of giving wants to be there, and the giving is very masculine. But then I also want to be in the energy of receiving. So then it's been like more into like slow down, receive, connect, be present, and I just started doing yoga as well. So it's like connecting. I just recently did some yin yoga, which was amazing, and connecting to that. So that's how, and I don't really share this with, out there. I don't really share it on social media when I'm doing with my personal life. But I am practicing that self-love. And the reason why I do that is because you got to live by example, right? Like, you got to be able to, if I'm telling you practice self-love, but I'm over here, beating myself up, then that's kind of like incongruent, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So that's where you get to practice discernment as well. And the reason why is because when someone is sharing a message of love, but they're not practicing love for themselves, they're not practicing this on themselves, that means what's happening there is that it's not genuine, right? Because how can you genuinely open your heart up to someone when you haven't done it for yourself, right? And so, and that's the intention there. So of course, I'm speaking about myself here, because I can only speak about myself. I can't speak about anyone else. But what I'm saying here is, as I move into this process of, or this experience of wanting to be there and serve others, and be here, and with you, and connect with you every week and all of that, I also have to hold myself accountable, as I do this. And I'm not perfect at it, but at least I'm practicing this. And so when I do that, I feel a sense of relief, because I was like, okay, well, I know what it is, how hard it is, right? And so I'm sharing this with others, and so that I can relate, right, with you, because again, there's that essence of practice, instead of coming from like, oh, this pious, like, oh, everything has to be perfect. And when in reality, in practicality, it's not, right? So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that, right? So like if the person is, kind of living in this, like, in this like facade of perfection, and then I would be, wondering, where in the spectrum are they? Like, are they really living to that, up to that expectation, or is there some sort of facade here, that where there's no true honesty and self-love that is being practiced here, right? And so, and I'm not saying that this is everyone, but I would just, it's a word of caution, right? Like, I'm not saying like everyone that has something, doesn't mean that if you have your life together and you're sharing that, doesn't mean that you're putting up a facade. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying that that could be a potential thing. So we want to make sure that we're looking at all of the angles, right, of what's happening there. So you want to make sure that that person is also practicing love of self. The other thing that you want to also pay attention to is, if this person is understanding the difference of duality and non-duality, and are they able to navigate on both? We when we are living on this planet, we are in the dualistic energy. So that yes, we do exist there, and yes, we do have the human expression of that, and yes, we do experience fear and separation. All of these things are going to be experienced. And what I mean by that is that you're actually, people are going to feel the feelings, and they're going to go through their process as well, right? However, is this person aware of it enough to where they know that that's not where they're going to stay? They're not promoting, for you to stay in duality. They're promoting actually for you to come back home to your heart, into non-duality, right? Like coming back home to your heart. That is really what we're meant to be doing here on this planet. We're not meant to stay in the fear and separation. We're meant to experience the fear and separation, to go through the process of fear and separation, remember who we are, and then come back home to our hearts. So that's basically the four things. So those are basically the four things that Spirit, and I'll show you all the cards that came up. I asked Spirit what were the things that we should be looking at, and these are the cards. So you can see that's what came up. It was love, individuality, self-love, and non-duality cards. So these are the cards that came up, and I was just so excited when I saw this. I was like, wow, like this is so incredible that this came up, and it's so aligned with my heart. And I'm so excited to do this video, because I was a little worried about creating a video that would create fear and separation, or and this was such a beautiful way to craft this message. And of course, Spirit is always in charge, and always here with us. And the intention here is always to connect you to your heart space, and to remind you that we're here to be love. And yes, we get to experience things that feel less than love, um, or far from love. However, the idea here is for us to gather the wisdom from these experiences, and be able to come back home to our hearts. And so, with this said, you may want to pay attention for now on, whenever you're watching readers, whenever you're watching people, pay attention to that. And always, absolutely always, align it with yourself. Even when I do a reading for you, it doesn't matter. Anytime you have someone who's giving you input information about certain situations, you always want to make sure that you do a cross fact check with yourself. Okay. And so that's what I have. That's all I have. I kind of wanted to take a moment just to thank you all for being part of this channel. Please share and like this video if you feel like this helped you. And I also want to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done this. And I want to invite you to go into my Instagram. Go follow me at the Blooming Lotus Healing. And I also wanted to invite you to go to my website, thebloominglotushealing.com. Sign up for my email list so that way you are on the inside, on the insiders version of of this channel, so that you know what's happening next. I don't really spam you. I send very infrequent emails, but I'd love to have you as part of my email list so that when I do have something important to say or something important for you to know, then you're able to come by and participate to those events and things that I have available for those who are part of my email list. I also want to take a moment just to let you know that I do have a class, the Beloved Method class, coming up. I'm starting it on August 26th all the way through September 30th. Here I should say September 30th. It said September, but September 30th. If you want to sign up, you want to make sure that you send me an email at hello@thebloominglotushealing.com, so that way I know that you are interested and send you the details once they're ready. I'm in the middle of revamping the website, so you will actually have access to an amazing portal where you will have access to the replays of everything, and basically everyone that signs up for this class will always have access to the beginners replays, regardless if you took that class or not. All the Q&As are going to be there. Everything is going to be there, so you're always going to be able to go back and have that access to everything that you need. So I'm so excited for everyone to be able to have this experience. This is something that I've been praying for a while, and I was able to connect with a beautiful spiritual response therapy practitioner who happens to be in IT and does web development, and she's been helping me with this. And I'm so grateful. It feels so aligned, and I can't wait. There's going to be a lot of shifts happening, and also I kind of wanted to mention on next month is going to be 2 years since I started the Blooming Lotus Healing. So since I founded my business, since I signed up for the business and everything, so I'm super excited to to share that, and trying to figure out what ways we can celebrate this together, and continue to grow this community. So anyway, so that's all I have here. Please, feel free to reach out to me. Don't forget to share and like this video, and I will see you next time. Love you.